Thank you, Mr. Khan. And now we'll move on to today's topic on how to support your team from being busy to more productive by simply learning how to turn emails into actionable planner tasks. This will be a quite practical look into task execution in Microsoft 365 using the iPlanner Pro app. Let's see. So what we'll learn today is two main areas. One of them is why inbox-driven work actually reduces visibility and slows execution across your team, right? Even though that's how we most work is in our inboxes, but it can be problematic, which we'll go into. But also how the iPlanner Pro can help you turn emails into trackable planner tasks, and thereby making your task visible across your team, and securing that they are always reaching the deadlines and your projects are reaching the deadlines, right? So this will be very interesting to deep dive into. So why does work fall through the cracks? Well, I have more than 15 years of experience working in marketing in big organizations, and I've seen this a lot in my time. That when we're working on larger projects or small projects as well, if task remains personal in people's own inboxes, they also remain invisible, sometimes even forgotten. And that's when the real problem starts, right? This means that we'll have to have more status follow-up meetings. And we all know that's a time stealer from actual work. And we also know that tools does exist, like the planner, which is a great tool. But sometimes adaptation isn't working and there's no clear governance on how to use it, which makes it not as useful as it could be. So what's happening? Yes, so Planner is a very powerful tool, but the work actually doesn't start there. We all know that we get tasks in from external sources and internal sources into our inbox, right? And that's where our task and our day starts. But we need to put them in the planner for everyone to see them and to know who is actionable on it and what's the deadline, so everyone has a clear overview. But getting them from the Outlook into the planner actually breaks momentum of your daily work, and the project starts stalling, right? Which is not a good way of working across teams. But thankfully, there's a good solution for this, which is the iPlanner Pro. And now Allan Ekelund, who is the founder and CEO of iGlobe, will go through a demo of the Planner app, iPlanner Pro app, to show you how you can optimize your way of working.
Hi, my name is Allan Ekelund. I'm the CEO of iGlobe. Today we're exploring a simple but powerful shift, moving from inbox-driven work to task-driven execution. Adopting task-driven work requires having the proper tool and a mindset shift. Microsoft Planner is a powerful tool. However, work starts elsewhere. In this demo, we're going to show you iPlanner Pro. iPlanner Pro is an extension to Microsoft Planner. iPlanner Pro is an app for Outlook and an app for Microsoft Teams. iPlanner Pro for Outlook is an extension of Microsoft Planner into Outlook. You can say that we're bringing you Microsoft Planner directly into your Outlook client. It will work on your webmail, it will work on your Mac computer, on your Windows computer, yes, even on your phone. So, how can we use iPlanner Pro in work task-oriented? Let's have a look. I have an email here with an invoice that I need to give to accounting, to James from accounting. Using iPlanner Pro, I'm going to create a task and assign it to James with a copy of the invoice. Clicking on Create a Task and select Task for Accounting. Going to select the bucket, assign it to James, select the priority, and the start and the due dates. Now all I have to do is save the invoice on the task itself and click on Save to create the task. That's it. We created the task and assigned it to James. Going into Microsoft Planner, we can see here is exactly the task that I just created and assigned to James. Now let's look at another scenario. I have an email here with a file that I received from our agency. Now this case story we need to assign to an existing task that I have from our marketing. So in this case, again, I'm going to select iPlanner Pro and I'm going to search for that specific task. Opening my iPlanner Pro and searching for the task called New Case. I'm going to open the task and I can see here that it requires of me when I get the file that I should save it here on the task. Editing the task, clicking on Attach, selecting the case story, click on Save, and then I'm going to assign it back to James because I'm done with my part. That's it. Click on Save. As mentioned, iPlanner Pro brings you Microsoft Planner tasks directly into your Outlook client. From here, you'll also be able to manage your task. By clicking on Manage Tasks, I'll see all the tasks that are assigned to me. I can filter them in a different way to find exactly the task I need to find. For example, I can look at this week's task here, and I can combine it by viewing them by priority, removing the filters. I can, for example, look at my task based on buckets rather than on plans. Going back to the card, we have quick updates. So from here, I can change the bucket. I can update the due dates. I can view the attachments that I have here on the file. And I can also, from here, edit the task. Basically, you can do everything you can from Microsoft Planner on a task online. You can do directly here from Outlook as well. So you have full planner functionality directly in your Outlook client. You can also mark a task as complete. Even more important, now that we're working task-oriented, I can also book preparation time in my calendar. So when I have a task here, I can say, well, at 8 o'clock here, I want to book some time in my calendar so everybody can see that I'm working on this task. To sum up, normally we would have forwarded the email to our colleagues. Instead of that, now that we're working task-oriented, we'll create a task based on that email and save the information and the files on the task. This is what iPlanner Pro helps us with. So we're bringing Microsoft Planner into Outlook, allowing us easily to create tasks and work task-oriented. Being able to create tasks from Outlook is a great help. I'm sure you will agree with that. However, we still need to get a good overview of tasks. I need to get a good overview of my own task. As a leader, I also need to get a good overview of my team's task. As a department manager or project manager, I need to get an overview across plan and look at my resources, perhaps even in different departments. Microsoft Planner doesn't give you this overview. That's why we created iPlanner Pro for Teams. Let's have a look at iPlanner Pro for Teams. iPlanner Pro for Teams is a Teams app, which means it'll be available here in my Teams. However, because it's also extended into Outlook, well, I'll also have an option to open iPlanner Pro directly here from my Outlook client. Now, let's jump over to Teams and have a look at it here. So, iPlanner Pro for Teams give me a number of overviews. I can view my tasks and I can view all tasks. This is the leadership. This is as a project manager or department manager, you would want to view tasks across plans. I can also view them in a Gantt chart view and in Eisenhower's priority matrix. Let's have a deeper look into iPlanner Pro for Teams. Opening the app, I will see my dashboard with the tasks that are due today. I have five tasks that are due today, 2 in progress, 3 that I didn't start with. I can also view my high priority urgent tasks. So these are tasks I better get started with. If I want to get an overview of all my tasks, I can go into my task area. Here, I can view this week's task, next week's task I'm late with, going over to 3 months, 6 and 12 months. In this way, I get a good overview of all the tasks that I have. I can also filter them in different ways by priority, by status, assigned to me, etc. I can also select exactly what it is I want to see. So if I want to look at the checklist item, I can simply add that column here. And then, as mentioned, update directly from here. So if I want to change this to urgent, I can simply change it here. Now, going back to the card view, I can do the same. I can also update directly from here. The point is, it should be easy to manage your task. If you are working task-oriented, it must be easy to work with the tasks, to update them, to reassign them, to add comments, etc. I can also book some time in my calendar the same way as we could from the Outlook edit. Besides having a good overview of my own task, as a department manager, team leader, project manager, I need to get a good overview of tasks that are assigned to resources across planes. I need to be able to plan. I need to be able to see their availability. I need to be able to see the status they are having on the different tasks that I have assigned to them. In this way, I'll move over to All Task View, showing me a dashboard on the selected 2 plans here. I can view this week's task across plans here, next week's task, and I can go in and say, well, we want to look specifically at James Bond and his task. How is he doing? Well, we can see Wednesday is completely free. We can also go in and have a look at task here with no due dates, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months, as we could before. So this gives us a good overview of the tasks that are assigned to different resources, filtered in different ways by status, priority, etc. Also here, we can control which columns we want to see, so it'll be easy for us to update. Giving you an even better overview of your resources, we added the scheduler or the Gantt chart view. Here you can select a plan and you will be able to see tasks based on a Gantt chart. I can select the resource here, view the task, click to open and update them, add a note, a comment, etc. Finally, we have the matrix view, which is based on Eisenhower's priority matrix, which allows you to prioritize tasks and make sure you're focusing on the proper task to solve them in time. With Microsoft Planner, iPlanner Pro for Outlook, and iPlanner Pro for Teams, we believe you have the proper tools that will help you work task-oriented. Working task-oriented will quite often also require that you register time on task and that you can monitor the time that has been spent on task. Learn how much time people are using so you can be better to plan and to assign tasks. iPlanner Pro also gives you that options. So we can go in here and register time on a task. These tasks we'll be able to view in a list. Here's an example where we created a SharePoint list where data is logged into. So with this list here, of course, you can just export it to Excel and work with it, or you could also use a Power BI report here showing you how time is spent on task. So this is just an example where we can see the task, filters in different ways. I can also go in here and see, so the business plan here, we spent 26 hours and how much time we spent on different tasks. Point is, by adding time registration to the task, then you would even get more out of working task-oriented. This was a quick presentation of iPlanner Pro, both for Outlook and for Teams. Just to give you a quick overview of where the app is used right now, this is a view of the last 30 days. So thank you very much. Should you have any questions or request a specific demo, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to provide you with a demo of the app itself. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed the demo. Let's sum up. Working task-oriented is keeping you organized in a structural, transparent system. A workplace where collaboration is seamless, accountability is visible, and productivity is measurable. If you start your day in your inbox, you'll work reactive. What screams the loudest? That's what you're going to go for. If you start your day in your task list, then you'll work intentional. So the big question is, how do we get there? How do we get away from our inbox to working task-oriented, being creatures of habits, Me, myself, I always start in my inbox, and it's so easy just to forward a mail, but it's just not productive. So we've done something to help you in that process to move from your inbox-oriented work to being task-oriented. So the first step will be to deploy iPlanner Pro, both in Outlook and in your Teams. You can use the QR code here to download iPlanner Pro and deploy it. You will automatically get the 30 days free trial. And the best way to test it is to select a small group and simply start testing it. Now, having how to test it, we also try to help you in that process. So we created a playbook, and that should help you in the process of testing the apps, testing the how to move from an inbox-oriented work process to the task-oriented. I'm not going to go through all the points here in the playbooks. We're going to send you an email and where you can download the app or the playbook itself. And should you have any questions or need help, please reach out to us, and we will be happy to assist you in that process. We also have an iPlanner Pro community on LinkedIn, where we really hope that people will interact and share their best, their knowledge, their experience of moving from the inbox-oriented to task-oriented work. And to join the LinkedIn community, again, please feel free to contact us, and we will help you join the community. Should you have any questions, please contact us. And thank you for participating in this webinar.